Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, economy, and development in Nigeria and around the world. The Association of Igbo Town Unions has written a petition to the United Nations, ECOWAS, and others over the targeted demolition of Igbo properties by the Lagos State government. That is what we're going to talk about in this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. You will notice that the continuous demolition of Igbo property in Lagos is not in the news. The mainstream media don't want to talk about it. Other Nigerians don't want to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it here in this channel, and we're going to look at the consequences and provide a solution to this deliberate targeted demolition, which the Igbo Town Union Association is complaining to the United Nations and ECOWAS. Let's go. Let's look at what they are talking about before we now dig into the solution to this problem. Welcome. Now, the Association of Igbo Town Unions, ASITU, said it has written a petition to the United Nations and the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, against the Lagos State government over the demolition of properties belonging to Igbo people in Ebute Ero Market in Lagos. The ASITU's national president, Chief Emeka Diwe, spoke to newsmen in Owerri while reacting to the reports of the destruction of the properties. According to the ASITU's statement, the Association of Igbo Town Unions, ASITU, condemns in the strongest possible terms the ongoing systematic demolition of lawfully acquired properties belonging to Igbo people in Lagos State. The demolition of trading plazas belonging to Igbo businessmen at Ebute Ero Market in Lagos on Friday, February 14, 2025, by agents of the Lagos State government amounts to a calculated expropriation of our people from their legitimate businesses. It represents an assault on justice, equality, and the fundamental principles of property rights. ASITU said they were angry because despite repeated appeals for fairness and adherence to the rule of law, the Lagos State government has continued its brazen campaign of selective demolition, disproportionately targeting Igbo-owned properties under various pretexts. It must be noted that these buildings and business complexes being demolished were never illegally built. They all came into being through the authorization of this same government masterminding their destruction today. This anti-Igbo brigandage in Lagos is totally unacceptable and cannot be tolerated anymore because it is reminiscent of the litany of injustices which our people have had to historically endure in Nigeria. It was part of their resolve that given the failure of domestic institutions in Nigeria to address these grievances and rein in on the ravages levied against our hard-working patriots in Lagos, ASITU has formally petitioned the following international bodies to intervene and hold the Lagos State government accountable for the atrocious acts. The United Nations Human Rights Council, UNHRC, to investigate Lagos State's actions as a violation of fundamental human rights, including the right to property, non-discrimination, and freedom from targeted dispossession. The African Commission on Human and People's Rights, ACHPR, to bring Nigeria to account under the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, which guarantees the protection of property rights for all citizens without bias. The ECOWAS Court of Justice to seek legal redress for affected individuals whose rights have been violated in contravention of regional human rights standards. Also, the Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch to document these abuses and amplify the plight of the Igbo people facing targeted property destruction. That's the statement from the Association of Igbo Town Unions in Nigeria. Like I said earlier in the intro, or in the introduction, the continuous targeted demolition of Igbo property in Lagos is not being well reported in the mainstream media. Other Nigerians are not talking about it. You don't even see it in the social media because they felt it's an Igbo problem. Other Nigerians, we have over 300 languages in Nigeria or ethnicities. Other people felt it's not their problem. They think that it's an Igbo problem. But let me remind them of a quote by a German pastor who lamented about not speaking out when it matters. He said, and I quote, he said, "First they came for the socialists. I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me." That was German pastor Martin Niemöller, who lived between 1892 and 1984, talking about the consequences of not speaking out, because eventually it will get to you what is happening in Lagos. You may think you are not Igbo, it doesn't concern you. And the mainstream media may be treating it like that too. It's an Igbo problem. And I have done a video where I looked at it and I asked a question: does Nigeria have Igbo problem? And if Nigeria has an Igbo problem, what is the solution? And I provide a solution. In a declassified State Department document that was written by Henry Kissinger, who reported to President Richard Nixon during the Civil War, Henry Kissinger filed to the report in a memo sent to Richard Nixon, which I'll try to put it, the classified document under this video. One of the things Henry Kissinger discovered about Nigeria, don't forget it was Henry Kissinger that described the Igbos as the wandering Jews of West Africa. That was what he filed, his description of the Igbos to the President Nixon. He said he described them as the wandering Jews of West Africa. And then one of the things he filed to President Kissinger, to President Richard Nixon, Kissinger said that one thing he had observed about Nigeria is that there seemed to be a consensus of disdain for the Igbo. In other words, all the other ethnic groups in Nigeria, they seem to have a collective disdain for Igbos. Now, if that is true and is still relevant to this day, what is the solution? Instead of all this playing around the bush by Lagos State government and others, what is the solution? And I have said that the solution could be found in how Malaysia separated from Singapore in 1963. In 1963, the parliament in Malaysia, in a unanimous vote, said that we don't want Singapore to be part of our federation again. We want Singapore to go away and go and have its own country. If you want to know details of this story, you can go and read Lim Kuan Yew's From Third World to First World. It was something that a recorded fact. That was how Singapore separated. Malaysia was predominantly Islamic, Muslim. This Malaysia, you see. But they were in the same country with Singapore. But they couldn't tolerate the Singaporeans. There was always crisis, there was always problem, there was always suspicion. And these Malaysians look at it, look, we want to have a monolithic country that is predominantly Muslim. Let us allow these Singaporeans to go. And they have majority in the parliament. And in a unanimous vote, they say, Singapore, leave our federation. We don't want you. Nigerian National Assembly can decide to pass a resolution telling Igbo-speaking people of Nigeria, if Nigerians cannot tolerate the Igbo, they can pass a resolution in the National Assembly and using the Malaysia blueprint of 1963, telling the Igbo people to go and form their country, to leave Nigeria, not to be part of the federation. Then the United Nations will come and help in drawing the boundary and everything. It can be done. No shot will be fired, nothing, like it happened in Malaysia. Today, Malaysia is doing well. Singapore is doing even far better. When Singapore left Malaysia, they left with their tails between their legs. Even Lim Kuan Yew was crying because he looked at where are we going to start from? But they started from somewhere. Today, in all indices of human development, Malaysia is doing well, but they are not doing as well as Singapore. So these are the things that could be done if Nigeria truly believed that it has Igbo problem, if Lagos believed that it has Igbo problem, so that these things can be resolved without getting to the Rwanda situation. That's how it is done in civilized society. That was what happened. That's how Singapore came about. I have seen people say Igbo people in the Igbo lawmakers in National Assembly should demand to separate from Nigeria. All this, even though those who are agitating all this IPOP and all, those are immaterial. those is going to the extreme. It's not necessary. If Nigeria has an Igbo problem, let them follow the Malaysia blueprint. The National Assembly is made up of all Nigerians. They represent all Nigerians. They can pass a resolution, allow Southeast or Igbo speaking people, let us make it Igbo speaking people, to go and form their own country, like Singapore was told to do so by Malaysia, because they were of the same federation. Malaysia and Singapore, they were of the same federation until the Malaysians said they can't stay anymore. They can't share the same country with the Singaporeans. And look at how peaceful these two nations have become. So if Nigeria has an Igbo problem, if Lagos has an Igbo problem, that is a solution. It is not for anybody. This is something that is in the hands of the National Assembly. The other day I saw an imam in a video speaking in Hausa. Somebody was translating it, saying they don't want to live with Igbos. Igbo should go. That is something that he should pass through go to the National Assembly and told northern lawmakers to gather themselves together with others in Nigeria and follow the Malaysian blueprint. No shot will be fired and all these things will happen. That's if Nigeria believes it has an Igbo problem. But if Nigerians don't have Igbo problem, Igbos have the same rights and privileges like other Nigerians, then they must enjoy those rights and privileges anywhere they reside. Anywhere they live, they must enjoy it under the law of Nigeria. That said, why is the Igbo Town Union running to United Nations, running to ECOWAS? Is because the institution in Nigeria has failed them. Their grievances are treated with levity, without care, nonchalant. Nobody cares. When they are demolishing the plaza, they will say, who owns this plaza? They say, it was one who carved for. They say, these Igbo people and their problem. Everybody walks away. That is his loss. Now they have to go to international organization to seek redress because Nigeria is literally a failed state that cannot even handle simple problem of rule of law. Like they said, most of the buildings and other properties they are destroying in Lagos were duly allocated to them by this same government that is destroying it. It's all boiled down to what? Politics. You remember how Bayo Nanoga, the present presidential spokesperson, warned Igbos that 2023 will be the last time they will interfere in the election in the Lagos State. That is Lagos, where the Igbos pay tax, do business and everything. That is the Lagos, where by 1946, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe was a member of the Lagos City Council. That was the Lagos where Sir Louis Odumegwu Ojukwu was the first president of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. That was the Lagos where the first vice chancellor of the University of Lagos was an Igbo man, Eninjoko. That is the Lagos where Bayo Nanoga, who was then speaking for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was still president-elect at that time, said 2023 will be the last time. So you now found out that the demolitions that is going on in Lagos are all political, basically influenced by politics, and the Igbos are where they target. And if you look at it, they were the targets. Look at the thugs that were moving around Lagos. Everybody saw them on TV, on videos, targeting Igbo households, telling them not to come out to vote at Lagos governorship election. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as the president-elect, that was in Lagos, he didn't issue any statement in condemnation of what was done. So if Nigeria has an Igbo problem, that is the solution, the Malaysian solution to the Igbo problem, if Nigeria has one. But if not, then Igbos should be entitled to all the rights and privileges. They don't need to go to United Nations. They don't need to go to ECOWAS. The Constitution of Nigeria should be able to guarantee rights of property to Igbos like every other Nigerian living in Lagos. And on a final note, some of the reasons why so many Igbos go to Lagos was basically because of the port in Lagos. Can we now have opportunity in Nigeria where the ports are decentralized so that the eastern ports will be working, so that people don't have any need? Because to be frank, the essence of people living in Lagos is because most of the importation of goods pass through Lagos ports. If there are other ports, especially the eastern ports, the Ebon port, the Calabar port, the Owerri port, the Port Harcourt port, and all these other ports in the eastern region, they are working. I don't see the reason why so many people will be rushing to be in Lagos, building properties in Lagos and all that. There wouldn't have been any need for that. Already, initially, what attracted people to Lagos was that Lagos was the federal capital. It has all the institutions, JAMB and everything. All those things have been taken away from Lagos to Abuja. So the only thing remaining there is commerce. Let us decentralize the ports so that the only people that will be using Lagos port will be those who are within the southwest, who are into the business of import and export. Then those in southeast, between south and southeast, northeast, all those, they will be using the eastern ports. The eastern ports are closer to northern Nigeria than the Lagos port. Everybody will be better off, and there will be no congestion in Lagos. And all this shakara about Lagos will end. In any case, unless the science of climate change is faulty, if the science of climate change is true, if it is true, even Lagos' existence is just within a short period. When you look at it in geomorphological terms, the existence of Lagos as you know it, because Lagos is under the sea level, and under the climate change theory we are seeing about the rise in sea level, one day you may not see this Lagos again, to be taken over by the sea. There's that possibility. If nothing is done to stop the ravaging of the climate change around the world, if countries don't come together to reduce the carbon emission and all the greenhouse effect and everything, this Lagos that people are doing shakara, you may not see it. In the next 50 years, in the next 100 years, you'll be taken over by water. But Nigeria don't think further. They are allowing Lagos to be the only place that the ports will be working. Only in Nigeria that you see that kind of thing. Lagos controlling the whole import in Nigeria in a country of over 250 million people. Just to show you how our leaders lack in initiative. That is the reason why the country is not making headway. That being said, it is important that these Igbo town unions have taken the matter to the United Nations, to ECOWAS. Let's see what comes out of it. But you know, Nigeria is also notorious for not fulfilling its international obligation. Don't forget, this same United Nations Human Rights Council had since 2022 declared and ruled that Nnamdi Kanu's renditioning from Kenya to Nigeria was an illegality, a violation of international law, that he should be released. Buhari failed to release him. Okay, but I like the symbolism of just reporting the matter to them. That you know about NSAS. ECOWAS had awarded huge amount of money to victims of NSAS. Have federal government of Nigeria paid? No. But the important thing is that it is good for the international community to know that Lagos is not an ideal investment destination. That the world should know that. That if Lagos cannot handle the local investors with dignity, what made any foreign investor confident that his investment will be safe in Lagos? I don't know what you think about this. This video is a bit long, but that's the way it is. I don't know what you think about this. What do you think about the Igbo town unions petitioning the United Nations, ECOWAS, and other international organizations, drawing attention to the targeted victimization of Igbo property owners in Lagos? Whatever is your position, let's hear from you at the comment section. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.